Oh,
There it is. Hey, what's up, guys?
We got it.
We did it.
Cool. We gotta like.
Are we sideways too? Yeah, they don't. Instagram doesn't like computers. They don't like widescreen. It's all phone centric.
Well,
Dude, all good. It's good to meet you guys. Dude, in the flesh, man. I know that, and we'll get to this in a bit, but we had this big show at Hard Rock Seattle planned with you guys, and I was personally going to be the guy that was going out and training our stage managers, because we always, whenever we expand into a new city, like we make sure the stage managers are treating the bands well, and just we make sure everything runs smoothly. And I was personally going to be at your show. I'm a bit of a riot. I normally go straight to the bar. I buy all the band's shots. So anyway, so of course the world fell apart, and then now I feel like. So I'm so glad that you guys were down to do the interview, because in a weird way I feel like we were supposed to meet up and hang out and have drinks and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting us, man. It's we're pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So for everybody that's watching, this is Seattle fam. This is Moon City Smugglers. I want to make sure I get the names right. We've got Christopher, Elliot, Jory, and Dominic. They're a Seattle-based, amazing rock band that we are going to work with at Hard Rock Seattle, and we'll definitely work with them once the world comes back to normal. But everybody, this is Moon City Smugglers. Guys, how are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. Just
thanks for having us.
One day at a time, right?
Yeah. Right.
I hear you, man. Yeah, that's basically the best we can do right now. So tell us a bit about where you guys are. We kind of work all over the place, so where are you guys? How are you guys staying busy during quarantine?
We're pretty centrally located, kind of in West Seattle. We're pretty close to each other, which was convenient. I mean, for me, what I've been doing during quarantine is teaching, molding minds, offering my own propaganda, so I can influence the world through children. I don't know. What have you all been doing?
I think we've all been doing really necessary work, just if not to help the people, just to help the future,
I've been binging a lot of Netflix like a normal person.
I've been working from home for 2 months now, so
it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
Right on. Dude, I could already tell by the dynamic in your guys' sense of humor. Now I was already upset that this show didn't happen and I couldn't buy you drinks. Now I'm really pissed because you guys are awesome. But cool. So right on. So how long? What's interesting is we kind of just stumbled across you guys on Facebook, of course your number's on Facebook. That's when we called you. We let you guys know what we were doing, and we were going to set up this show. But we didn't get a chance to get an idea of how long have you guys been performing, and how did Moon City Smugglers become a band?
Yeah. How long has it been now?
It was the summer of 2018, right?
Yeah, so it's coming up on 2 years when we first all got together. It was, about 8 or 9 months after that when we stared performing.
Yeah,
something like that.
It was maybe less. But yeah, we started off doing a couple open mics at a local bar, doing little 2-song sets of covers while we developed our originals, and then started getting more originals down and did a full set of originals at a little dive bar called the Pogie over in West Seattle. It's just kind of
where we started, and then we've been just going anywhere we can find from there, and then we had some shows lined up that month, actually.
Yeah, we had a good month,
and then of course
planned.
the show we were going to have with you, we were really looking forward to, and of course, we are where we are now. So.
For sure. Yeah, I remember we were we were just it was weird because in the beginning we didn't realize how massive and serious the situation was. So of course, we're just telling the venues everything's going to be fine. The show's still good, because it's our job as a booker to make sure that nobody screws you guys over, that your show definitely happens. We're kind of running the thing. And I remember just day by day we were just reminding everybody everything's cool, and then all of our shows just started getting shut down by the venues and whatnot. It was just
it seemed like one day just flipped, and then everything was
we had
bizarre, man.
We had a show cancel. One day we were at practice and we were good to go when we went in, and then of course when we were done with practice, the show had been canceled, and then of course it was downhill from there. So.
Oh man. Yeah, I remember making the calls, especially for, I mean, we book all over the place, but it was especially Seattle because I don't tell many people this, but I guess everybody's going to know this now since it's on the internet. But I used to be a hip hop artist, so I used to run into these really shady promoters. So I take a lot of pride in like going out and meeting people, and that's why I do the whole like buy rounds thing. You know, it's just I really enjoy meeting people. And Seattle, it was supposed to be our big blowout like expansion show. Which you guys were on. March 27th was it. And I had my flight booked. I was ready to rock. I had friends that live in town. I was bringing them all to the show. And, man, but we'll definitely do it. Once things get recalibrated, we'll do it for sure.
At some point, it'll get back to normal. But
yeah, we're hoping.
So did you guys meet each other through work or are you guys lifelong friends, like through childhood? Like, how did you guys meet each other?
Well, me and Chris have known each other for a long time. Was it middle school or high school?
Middle school, high school.
Grade school sometime. Okay.
I know because of the mutual friend.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so it was...
we all grew up in the same area, and then, we ended up... we were kind of doing stuff musically, that kind of fell together.
We had another group that kind of fell apart, but then I just started texting, like, everybody that I knew in the arts community, be like, do you know anybody?
So they got a hold of our mutual friend Marshall, who texted me and said, hey, I know you're a drummer. I know a couple guys looking for a drummer. So they sounds awesome. Yeah. They're looking for a rock drummer, and I thought that's my bread and butter. So I texted Elliot, and kind of the rest is history.
Shout out to the Dead Sonics, by the way.
Shout out to Dead Sonics and Marshall.
Yeah. Big shout out to Marshall and the Dead Sonics. They're kind of the ones who are responsible for getting us all together.
Yeah.
Sick. And hey, reliable drummers, I know from experience, are just a nightmare to find. It's a pain in the ass to find people like you. So hang on to this guy. Although I'm sure you guys already know that.
Don't focus ego too much.
I know. Right on. Well, cool. So actually, speaking of rock, so I was checking out. It was Wearing the Skin. And, I mean, of course, we checked out, you guys are actually on our Spotify, so we've checked you out before, but, like, I remember one of the first songs we checked out was Wearing the Skin, because in the song, like, you guys go into solos, or a guitar solo, and I remember I was actually just speaking with somebody at House of Blues Las Vegas about how, like, it's this growing conversation, like, as classic rock becomes a thing I don't want to say a thing of the past, because classic rock is amazing, but there's this ongoing conversation of, like, where did the guitar solo go? Like, I hear so many songs these days, nobody's doing guitar solos anymore, and that's one of the most beautiful things that you can just throw into a song. And so anyway, the first song we heard of you guys, just as soon as we heard the guitar solo, we were just like, rad, like, these guys know what's up. But yeah, I wanted to ask, like, for each of you, from, you know, each member, like, what would you say your biggest, or who would you say your biggest influences are musically?
I did grow up listening to a lot of classic rock and a fair bit of metal, so that's kind of what my dad exposed me to. And as I got older, I got interested in more contemporary rock stuff like Portugal the Man and, you know, Arctic Monkeys and a lot of the 2000s rock bands. And then I also got into jazz a little bit when I was in high school. I joined the jazz band. And really, I just like picking up whatever I can. But I take a lot of influence from like Keith Moon, John Bonham, Mitch Mitchell, a lot of the classic rock drummers.
Right. Cool. I'm going through all of you guys, so I definitely, it's one of my favorite questions to ask.
I shout out to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for like molding my musical taste at a very young age. Like,
hell yeah,
honestly, like
there was a lot of good music.
It was really good. Yeah. I mean, so from that to like early 2000s, mid 2000s post-punk revival stuff. So the Strokes and the Yeah Yeahs, stuff like that has been like super influential to the kind of music I like, the lyrical content, all kinds of stuff, style. And then special shout out to Mars Volta for just being, as far as like experimental stuff, like getting really interesting music, like that's a huge influence. Not that I'm writing the crazy guitar solos or anything, but as far as the aesthetic that I like, you know, that can be really fun.
For sure.
Yeah. My folks, Well, I've had a bunch of influences. Like my folks got me started listening to the Beatles when I was really young, and so that was like the first music that I really learned. And then it was older stuff, Cat Stevens. And then as I became an angsty teenager, like it was like all metal all the time. That's all I'm doing. And then it progressed, thankfully. So I still, metal was an influence, but a lot of classic rock stuff. The Beatles, Zeppelin, Fleetwood Mac. Their Rumors album is one of the best albums ever written. And then, I don't want to be stereotypical, and I hate to even say this, but then the grunge Seattle '90s scene, Soundgarden played a huge influence in my development. Chris Cornell, man, those pipes are incredible. So, yeah, I'd say it's kind of all over, but I try to take bits and pieces wherever I can and just kind of put them together.
Right on. What about you, Chris?
My mom was a fan of The Who, like back when I was younger. I mean, she still is, but so I really got into John Entwistle when I was younger, and a lot of like old blues stuff, James Jamerson, stuff like that, kind of fat, just heavy beat blues. And, a lot of grunge stuff, pretty much just as I was growing up, in the 90s, kid of the 90s, a lot of grunge, a lot of 80s rock in there, some punk, just kind of molded everything, but I kind of like to keep that classic. Me and him were in a Beatles cover band earlier on, like kind of in high school, the Strawberry Boys. So the Beatles.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was me and him and a keyboard that played one beat for us, and we played every song to that one keyboard beat. It was pretty cool.
Right. Well, cool. So together we have the Moon City Smugglers. How did you guys come up with the name?
That's this guy.
So yeah, we were practicing and bantering, and kind of a thing that became kind of an inside joke was, we didn't have a band name at the time, so a phrase would pop out while bantering, and someone would say band name, and we'd think about it, and then we'd be like, nah, that's not good. We'll move on. Well, one time it stuck. It was Moon City Smugglers. I was reading an Andy Weir book at the time, Artemis, his second book after The Martian. And yeah, the main character is a smuggler who lives on a city in the moon. And I was telling him about the book, and somebody said band name, and it kind of stuck.
I dig it.
It's actually like when we were trying to actually come up with a band name, that was always like the thing that we'd come back to, but as a joke, at least I.
Yeah.
But then over time, none of us like had something that we all really loved until we all just kind of admitted that Moon City Smugglers was good, and so.
It worked. Yeah. They're like good.
Well, I dig it for sure. So cool, fun question that I've been asking everybody is what would you say, because you guys have been performing for about 2 years now, what would you say is the weirdest thing that has ever happened to you either at a show or, on a tour?
So we had a show at a dive bar in Seattle, and there was next to the stage, there's a little hallway out to the back door, and there's a little patio at the back door that people were smoking at and hanging out. And there was a guy that had been there since we started loading in. He was just a dude. He was just there. He was a little eccentric. We didn't know what was going on. He called himself Mr. Moons, and
Fitting.
We had a kinship.
So, yes, we had a kinship, right? We were like, oh man, you got to hang over the show, right? So we were playing our set. And we start loading our stuff off, and the other band, were they on? Did we have to stop their show, or was it after everything?
It was after everything. We were the last set, and as we were going out, the back door had been locked, and some people were like, hey, that guy out there, he has a sawed-off shotgun that he's pointing at people. So yeah, there was one guy who was like, he was a friend of...
He was a friend of mine.
Yeah, a friend of Elliot's who called the cops, and they showed up, and they bagged the guy, and
he was running around,
took a shotgun away.
But he had a backpack the entire time, and I guess throughout the night he was opening his backpack, being like, "Look at my sandwich! I got a sweet sandwich." And people were like, what? That's a shotgun, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So eventually, we have to bar the doors, and like everyone's like locked down in there, being like, yeah, stay cool, nobody leave because you can't leave out the back door. So that was crazy. No one got hurt. No one got hurt. Everything was fine.
That's good.
But just the fact that happened was just it was weird. Yeah.
Man, I thought I had good stories. Like I always ask people, and then I always come back with like, we had a bomb threat in our building once at House of Blues San Diego, and it turned out to be a kid at a prom next door that was calling in a prank, and everybody was fine, obviously, because it was a prank. But like an actual like standoff with a guy with a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody's okay.
Down, and it was weird. It was new. That was a new one for sure.
Man, cool. Well, I'm glad everybody's okay. I'm definitely not disappointed with the answer here.
Everyone's good.
We ended up going back and playing there anyway.
Yeah,
right.
So
Well,
It's the last time we played the
not the venue's fault, I hope. I mean, unless it's like, I'm gonna leave it there. That's a really good one. Dude, Rad, definitely not disappointed in that answer. Holy shit. Well, cool. So for everybody watching, we're definitely going to keep this on our story for 24 hours. It's going to be on our IGTV. We're going to post it on YouTube. And obviously, when concerts become a thing, we are absolutely going to be working with Moon City Smugglers. Obviously, guys are a fun group of guys. But while we're still in this whole weird stage of the crisis, is there anything that you guys want to announce or promote while we're out here?
I mean, we've been writing new music. We were preparing to perform a lot of new songs at our show with you and some of the other shows we had lined up. So at the soonest opportunity, we're going to be performing a lot of that, which will be fun because we've got a lot of new stuff, and we're in the process of writing a lot of new songs as well. So we're hoping to be able to produce a full album at some point.
We were planning on doing something during the whole situation to kind of do something like a live stream this, but unfortunately, with the way things were, kind of family issues kind of had to come above. We had to be a little cautious exactly about how we handled everything. So we're kind of had to put that on the back burner. But what were we gonna do with that album?
But yeah, we're at the point where we have enough material for a full album. So we're looking to perform some of our new material, and then hopefully around the end of the year start recording the album is our plan at the moment.
Cool. And I think we're still planning on, or the idea is that still do a live stream show at some point soon. Whenever safety dictates, like you gotta stay safe. But I
setting
think
up the logistics and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're always writing, always coming up with new music. So we've got stuff we want people to hear.
Right on. Well, yeah, it's definitely good to meet you guys. And actually, you guys, everybody that we've interviewed so far are people that we've worked with before, and I definitely wanted to include you guys because we were just about to do that show right when the pandemic happened. And I think that you guys, obviously we'll set something up as soon as the world allows us to. It's common for us to do a lot, like the hard rock show that we were going to do with you guys. And I think you're going to really like how we work. Like, we actually meet you during load-in. We show you where to go. We have like a production manager round up all the bands like 30 minutes before we open doors. And we do this it's cheesy, but we do this little team huddle with all the bands, and we introduce you to your sound tech and your lighting tech and your photographer, because the photographer follows you around all night, and then we have a host that introduces each act. It's we kind of create a little family in each city that we work in. So I can't wait to do that with you guys. And for everybody checking this out, again, Moon City Smugglers, we're going to keep all their links in the description of this. And yeah, guys, just thank you for being with me today, and it's good to visually see you guys.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, man.
It's great to meet you finally.
Absolutely. We'll see each other soon, and definitely have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Peace.